Welcome back everyone. Today we are going to start chapter 16, Light. The world is largely known through the senses. The sense of sight is one of the most important senses. Through it we see mountains, rivers, trees, plants, chairs, people and so many other things around us. We also see clouds, rainbows and birds flying in the sky. At night we see the moon and the stars. You are able to see the word and sentences printed on this page. How is the seeing made possible? So 16.1, what makes things visible? So have you ever thought how we see various objects? You may have seen that I see the objects, but you see an object in the dark. It means that eyes alone cannot see any object. It is only when lights from an object enters our eyes that we see the object. The light may be emitted by the object or may be reflected by it. So you learnt in class 7 that a polished or a shiny surface can act as a mirror. A mirror changes the direction of light that falls on it. So I have studied that. Can you tell in which direction the light falls on a surface will be reflected? So let us find out. So law of reflection. So we will see an activity 16.1. Fix a white sheet of paper on a drawing board or a table. Take a comb and close all its opening except one in the middle. So you can use a strip of black paper for this purpose. Hold the comb perpendicular to the sheet of paper. Throw light from a torch through the opening of the comb from one side, as you can see in figure 16.1. With slight adjustment of the torch and the comb, you will see a ray of light along the paper on the other side of the comb. Keep the comb and the torch steady. Place a strip of plain mirror in the path of the light ray, as in figure 16.1. What do you observe? So you can see arrangement of showing reflection. So you can see in 16.1, after striking the mirror, the ray of light is reflected in another direction. The light ray which strikes any surface is called the incident ray. So you must remember that it is called incident ray. The ray that comes back from the surface after reflection is known as the reflected ray. So ray of light is an idealization. In reality, we have a narrow beam of light which is made up of several rays. For simplicity, we will use the term ray for a narrow beam of light. So we will use the term ray. Draw lines showing the position of the plane mirror. So the incident ray and the reflected ray on the paper with the help of your friend. Remove the mirror and the comb. Draw a line making an angle of 90 degree to the line representing the mirror at the point where the incident ray strikes the mirror. This line is known as the normal to the reflecting surface at that point. So you can see in figure 16.2, the angle between the normal and incident ray is angle of incidence, that is angle I. So the angle between the normal and the reflected ray is known as the angle of reflection, angle R. So you can see in figure 16.3. Measure the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. Repeat the activity several times by changing the angle of incidence. Enter the data in the table 16.1. So you can see this is the incident ray, this is normal, and this is the reflected ray. So angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. So you can see put the angles in this table. So do you see any relation between the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection? Are they approximately equal? If the experiment is carried out carefully, it is seen that the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. This is one of the laws of reflection. Let us perform another activity of reflection. So we should always remember the above thing. What would happen if I throw the light on the mirror along the normal? So activity 16.2, for perform activity 16.1 again. This time use a sheet of stiff paper or a chart paper. Let the sheet project a little beyond the edge of the table, as in figure 16.4. So you can see, cut the projecting portion of the sheet in the middle. Look at the reflected ray. Make sure that the reflected ray extends to the projected portion of the paper. Bend that part of the projected portion on which the reflected ray falls. Can you still see the reflected ray? Bring the paper back to the original position. Can you see the reflected ray again? So what do you infer? So you can see in the figure A and B. So A and B is the incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal ray at the point of incidence lie in the same plane. So when the whole sheet of paper is spread on the table, it represents one plane. The incident ray, the normal at the point of incidence, and the reflected ray are all in this plane. When you bend the paper, you create a plane different from the plane in which the incident ray and the normal ray lies. So then you do not see the reflected ray. What does it indicate? It indicates that the incident ray, the normal at the point of incidence, and the reflected ray all lies in the same plane. This is another law of reflection. So you should remember this also. Paheli and Bujo performed the activity above outside the classroom. So with the sun as the source of light instead of torch. You too can use the sun as the source of light. So this activity can also be performed by making use of ray streak apparatus available in the kit prepared by NCERT. Bojo remembered that in class 7 he has studied some features of the image of an object formed by a plane mirror. So you remember that? Paheli asked him to recall those features. So was the image erect or upside down? Was it of the same size as the object? Did the image appear at the same distance behind the mirror as the object was in front of it? Could it be obtained on a screen? So let us understand a little more about the formation of image by a plane mirror in the following way. So 16.3 activity, a source of light O is placed in front of a plane mirror PQ. Two rays OQ, OA and OC are incident on it. Figure 16.5 shows that. So can you find out the direction of reflected ray? Draw normals to the surface of the mirror PQ at the point A and C. So then draw the reflected rays at the point A and C. How would you draw these rays? Call the reflected rays AB and CD respectively. Extend them further. Do they meet? Extend them backwards. Do they meet now? If they meet, mark this point as I. For a viewer's eye at E, you can see in figure 16.5, do the reflected ray appears to come from the point I. So since the reflected ray do not actually meet at I, but only appear to do so, so we say that the virtual image of point O is formed at I. So you can say that the virtual image of point O is formed at point I. So as you have learned already in class 7, such an image cannot be obtained on a screen. So you can obtain this on a screen. You may recall this that in an image formed by a mirror, the left of the object appears on the right and the right of the object appears on the left. So this is known as lateral inversion. So 16.3, regular and diffuse reflection. So activity 16.4, imagine that parallel rays are incident on irregular surface as shown in figure 16.6. Remember that the laws of reflections are valued on each point of the surface. Use these laws to construct reflected rays at various points. Are they parallel to one another? You will find that these rays are reflected in different direction. So you can see here parallel rays incident on an irregular surface. So you can see rays reflected from irregular surface. You can see when all the parallel rays reflected from a rough or irregular surface are not parallel, the reflection is known as diffuse or irregular. So it is clear. So remember that the diffuse reflection is not due to the failure of the laws of reflection. It is caused by the irregularities in the reflecting surface like that of a cardboard. So it is because of the surface that the reflected rays are not equal. So on the other hand, reflection from a smooth surface like that of a mirror is called as regular reflection. Images formed by regular reflection, you can see here, you can see in 16.8 the regular reflection. So we see all objects due to reflected light? So nearly everything you see around is seen due to the reflection of light. Moon, for example, receives light from the sun and reflects it. That's how we see the moon. The objects which shine in the light of other objects are called the illuminated objects. Can you name some other such objects? There are some other objects which gives their own light, such as the sun, fire, flame of a candle and an electric lamp. Their light falls on our eyes. This is how we see them. The objects which emit their own light are known as the luminous object. So Boju says, I have a question. Can the reflected rays be further reflected if incident on another mirror? So let us find out. So you can see as in figure 16.4, reflected light can be reflected again. So recall the last time you visited a hairdresser. She or he makes you sit in front of a mirror. After your hair is complete, she or he holds a mirror behind you to show how the hair has been cut. So you can see in figure 16.9. So do you know how you could see the hair at the back of your head? So Paheli recalls Having constructed a periscope as an extended activity in class 6, the periscope makes use of two plane mirrors. Can you explain the reflection from the two mirror enables you to see objects which are not visible directly? Periscope are used in submarines, tanks and also by soldiers in bunkers to see things outside. So 16.5 multiple images. You are aware that a plane mirror forms only a single image of an object. What happens if two plane mirrors are used in combination? Let us see. So activity 16.5, take two plane mirrors, set them at right angle to each other with their edges touching. So you can see in figure 16.10. To hinge them, you can use adhesive tape. So place a coin in between the mirrors. How many images of the coin do you see? So you can see in the figure 16.10 images of the plane mirror at right angle to each other. So you can see. Now hinge the mirrors using the adhesive tape at different angles, say 45, 60 and 120 and 180 degree, etc. Place some objects, say candle, in between them. Note down the number of images of the object in each cases. Finally, set the two mirrors parallel to each other. Find out how many images of a candle placed between them are formed. So you can see image in a plane mirror parallel to each other. So can you now explain how you can see the back of your head at the hairdresser's shop? This idea of number of images formed by mirrors placed at an angle to one another is used in kaleidoscope to make numerous beautiful patterns. You can also make a kaleidoscope yourself. So they are making a kaleidoscope. So activity 16.6, to make a kaleidoscope, get three rectangular mirror strips, each about 15 centimeter long and 4 centimeter wide. Join them together to form a prism as shown in figure 16.12a. Fix this arrangement of mirror in a circular cardboard tube or tube of a thick chart paper. Make sure that the tube is slightly longer than the mirror strip. So you can see here, close one end of the tube by a cardboard disc having a hole in the center, so through which you can see. So you can see in figure 16.12, you can see there is a hole. So to make the disc durable, plastic is a piece of transparent plastic sheet under the cardboard. So making a kaleidoscope, you can see in the figure. So this at the other end touching the mirror, fix a circular plain glass plate as you can see in 16.12c. Place on this glass plate several small pieces of colored glasses, broken pieces of colored bangles. Close this end of the tube by a ground glass plate. Allow enough space for the color pieces to move around. So your kaleidoscope is ready. When you peep through the hole, you will be able to see a variety of pattern in the tube. An interesting feature of a kaleidoscope is that you will never see the same pattern again. Designers of wallpapers and fabrics and artists often use kaleidoscope to get ideas for new patterns. To make your toy attractive, you can wrap the kaleidoscope in a colored paper. So 16.6, white or colored. So in class 6 you learned that the sunlight is referred to as white light. You also learned that it consists of 7 colors. Here and another activity is there. So in figure activity 16.7, showing the sunlight consists of several colors. So you can see activity 16.7, get a plane mirror of a suitable size. Place it in a bowl, katori, as shown in figure 16.13. So you can see there placed the plane mirror. And now fill the bowl with water. Put this arrangement near a window in such a way that the direct sunlight falls on the mirror. Adjust the position of the bowl so that the reflected light from the mirror falls on the wall. If the wall is not white, fix a sheet of white paper on it. Reflected light will be seen to have many colors. So how can you explain this? The mirror and the water form a prism. So you can see here, as you learned in class 7, this breaks up the light into its colors. Splitting of lights into its color is known as dispersion of light. Rainbow is natural phenomenon showing dispersion. So you can see in the figure dispersion of light. So 16.7, what is inside our eyes? So we see things only when light coming from them enters our eyes. Eyes is one of the most important sense organs. It is therefore important to understand its structure and working. The eye has a roughly spherical shape. The outer coat of the eye is white. It is tough so that It can protect the interior of the eyes from accidents. Its transparent front part is called cornea, as in figure 16.14. Behind the cornea, we find a dark muscular structure called iris. In the iris, there is a small opening called the pupil. The size of the pupil is controlled by the iris. So the iris is the part of eye which gives it a distinct color. So when we say that a person has a gray eyes, we refer actually the color of the iris. The iris controls the amount of light entering into the eye. So let us see how. So you can see here contractive muscle. This is the iris. This is the lens. This is the cornea. So this is the optic nerves and this is the retina. So this is the human eyes figure. So caution is there. For this activity, never use a laser torch. So activity 16.8, look into your friend's eyes. Observe the size of the pupil. Throw light on her eyes with a torch. Observe the pupil now. Switch off the torch and observe her pupil once again. Do you notice any change in the size of the pupil? In which case was the pupil larger? Why do you think it was so? In which case do you need to allow more light in the eye when the light is dim or bright? So behind the pupil of the eye is a lens which is thicker in the center. What kind of lens is thicker at the center? Recall what you have learnt about the lenses in class 7th. The lens focuses the light on the back of the eyes on the layer called retina. So it focuses the light on the retina, as you can see in figure 16.14. The retina contains several nerve cells. Sensation felt by the nerve cells are then transmitted to the brain through the optic nerve. There are two kinds of cells: cones, which are sensitive to bright lights, and rods, which are sensitive to dim light. Cone senses color. At the junction of the optic nerve and the retina, there is no sensory cells, so no vision is possible at that spot. This is called the blind spot. Its existence can be demonstrated as follows. So you can see here. Activity 16.9, make a round mark and a cross on a sheet of paper with the spot to the right of the cross. You can see in 16.15. So the distance between the two marks may be 6 to 8 centimeter. Hold the sheet of paper at an arm's length from the eye. Close your left eye. Look continuously at the cross. So move the sheet slowly towards you, keeping your eye on the cross. What do you find? Does the round mark disappear at some point? Now close your right eye. Look at the round mark now and repeat the activity. Does the cross disappear? So the disappearance of the cross or the round mark shows that there is a point on the retina which cannot send messages to the brain when light falls on it. So this figure showed the demonstration of blind spot. The impression of an image does not vanish immediately from the retina. It persists there for about 1/16th of a second. So if still images of a moving object are flashed on the eye at a rate faster than 16 per second, then the eye perceives the object as moving. So activity 16.10, get a square piece of cardboard of size 6 to 8 centimeter. Make two holes as shown in figure 16.16. Thread a string through the two holes. Draw or paste a cage on one side of the cardboard and a bird on the other side. Twist the string and make the card twirl rapidly. Do you see the bird in the cage? So you can see this is the reverse side of the cardboard, this is the front side of the cardboard. So the movies that we see are actually a number of separate pictures in proper sequence. They are made to move across the eye, usually at the rate of 24 pictures per second, faster than 16 per second. So we can see moving pictures. So nature has provided eye with eyelids to prevent any object from entering the eye. Eyelids also shut out light when not required. Eye is such a wonderful instrument that it normally can clearly see distinct objects as well as objects nearby. The minimum distance at which the eye can see object distinctively varies with age. The most comfortable distance at which one can read with a normal eye is about 25 centimeters. Some person can see objects close to them clearly but cannot see distant objects so clearly. On the other hand, some person cannot see nearby objects clearly but they can see distant objects quite well. With suitable corrective lenses, the defect of the eyes can be corrected. Sometimes, particularly in old age, eyesight becomes foggy. It is due to the eye lens becoming cloudy. When it happens, person is said to have cataract. there is a loss of vision, sometimes extremely severe. If it is possible to treat this defect, the opaque lens is removed and a new artificial lens is inserted. Modern technology has made this procedure simpler and safer. So 16.8, care of the eyes. It is necessary that you take care of your eyes properly. If there is any problem, you should go to an eye specialist, have a regular checkup. If advised, use suitable spectacles. Too little and too much light is bad for eyes. Insufficient light causes eye strain and headaches. Too much light, like that of the sun, a powerful lamp or a laser torch, can injure the retina. So do not look at the sun or a powerful light directly. Never rub your eye. If a particle of dust go into your eye, wash your eyes with clean water. If there is no improvement, go to the doctor. Always read at normal distance of vision. Do not read by bringing the book too close to the eye or keeping it too far. So you learned about the balanced diet in class 6. If food is deficient in some components, eye may also suffer. Like lack of vitamin A in foodstuff is responsible for many eye diseases, eye troubles. Most common among them is a night blindness. So one should therefore include in the diet component which have vitamin A, raw carrots, broccoli and green vegetables such as spinach and cod liver oil are rich in vitamin A. Egg, milk, curd, cheese, butter and fruits such as papaya and mango are also rich in vitamin A. So you can see here, do you know animals have eye shaped in different ways. Eye of a crab are quite small, but they enable the crab to look around, all around. So the crab can sense even if the enemy approaches from behind. Butterflies have large eyes, so you can see in the figure, that seems to be made up of thousands of little eyes. They can see not only in the front and the side but also back as well. So a night bird owl can see very well in the night but not during the day. On the other hand, daylight birds like kite eagle can see well during the day but not in the night. The owl has a large cornea and a large pupil to allow more light in its eye. Also, it has on its retina a large number of rods and only a few cones. The daybirds, on the other hand, have more cones and fewer rods. So, 16.9, visually impaired person can read and write. So, some persons, including children, can be visually impaired. They have very limited vision to see things. Some person cannot see at all since birth because some person may lose their eyesight because of disease or an injury. Such person try to identify things by touching and listening to voices more carefully. They develop their other senses more sharply. However, additional resources can enable them to develop their capabilities further. So, non-optical and optical aid for visually impaired. Non-optical aid including visual aids, tactual aids using the sense of touch, auditory aids using the sense of hearing, and electronic aid. Visual aids can magnifying words, can provide suitable intensity of light and material at proper distances. Tactual aids including braille writer, slate and stylus help the visually challenged person in taking notes, reading and writing. Auditory aids include cassette tapes, recorders, talking books and other such devices. Electronic aids such as talking calculators and computers are also available for performing many computational tasks. Closed circle television, also an electronic aid, enlarged printed material with suitable contrast and illumination. Nowadays, use of audio CDs and voice boxes with computers are also very helpful for listening to and writing the desired text. Optical aids including bifocal lenses, contact lenses, tinted lenses, magnifiers and telescopic aids. While the lens combinations are used to rectify visual limitations, telescopic aids are available to view chalkboard and class demonstration. So 16.10, what is the Braille system? The most popular resource for visually challenged person is Braille. So Louis Braille himself, a visually challenged person, developed a system for visually challenged person and published it in 1821. So you can see here Louis Braille's picture. The present system was adopted in 1932. There is Braille code for common language, mathematics and scientific notions. Many Indian language can be read using the Braille system. So you can see Braille system has 63 dot patterns or characters. Each character represents a letter, a combination of letter, a common letter or a grammatical sign. Dots are arranged in cells of two vertical row of three dots each. So pattern for dot to present represent some English letters are and common words are shown in you can see in shown here. See here it is written cat in Braille system. So you can see two dots for A there is one and for T this is the pattern. So you can write a combination of letter and is written as this and a comma is indicated as this. So you can see the example of dot pattern used in Braille system. So these patterns when imposed on Braille sheets helps visually challenged person to recognize words by touching. To make them easier to touch, the dots are raised slightly. So visually impaired people learn the Braille system by beginning with letters, then special characters and letter combination. Method depends upon recognition by touching. Each character has to be memorized. Braille text can be produced by hand or by machine. Typewriters like devices and printing machines have now been developed. So here is Helen A. Keller. Some visually impaired Indians have great achievements to their credit. Divakar, a child prodigy, has given amazing performance as a singer. Ravindra Jain, born completely visually impaired, obtained his Sangeet Prabhakar degree from Allahabad. He has shown his excellence as a lyricist, singer and a music composer. So Lal Advani, himself visually impaired, established the Association of Special Education and Rehabilitation of Disabled in India. Beside this, he represents India on Braille problems in UNESCO. So Helen A. Keller, an American author and lecturer, is perhaps the most well-known and inspired visually challenged person. She lost her sight when she was only 18 months old, but because of her resolve and courage, she could complete her graduation from a university. She wrote a number of books, including The Story of My Life in 1903. So here the chapter is finished and we'll start the next chapter in the next class.